We've responded. We sent 70 fighter jets.
Response no unheard.
Airstrikes on guerrilla training centers, that's a response.
No one notices what happens in the border camps.
60 Arabs dead, at least.
There's probably more speaking parts in this film than in any film I've ever directed, including Catch Me If You Can, which I believe had something like 150 speaking parts, and I believe this film may have 155 speaking parts. So, and when you have that many characters in a multi-layered story that spans a couple of years and many countries, it's just very important for me that the smallest character is as interesting as the most important character in the story. So I think I spent probably more time choosing amongst 10 to 20 different actors for a two-line role, because I felt that if the cast could coalesce and everybody was memorable in some fashion, that the film was going to celebrate performance, even though it's trying to portray a very painful, tragic part of our collective histories. I also wanted this to have an amazing ensemble in which to tell the story.
The casting team stretched all over the world, and but very importantly included Lucky Englander and Fritz Fleischhacker, who are a casting team who work out of Austria. And I worked with Steven before on Schindler's List, and they had worked incredibly hard and amassed an amazing and extraordinary archive, and also had worked right at the beginning of the process when no one knew anything about the film. And Terry Taylor, who has worked with Steven before, represented everything that was done out of America, specifically the amazing performances of Omar Metwali, who plays Ali in the film, and Lynn Cohen.
While the rest of the world is playing games, Olympic torches and brass bands and dead Jews in Germany. And the world couldn't care less.
Well, we provided Lynn Cohen with a lot of, documentary footage on, her speech patterns, Golda Meir's speech patterns, certainly her look, her body style, the way she conducted herself. I noticed when I saw her speaking several times that she tended to rest her chin on her hand and gesture very close to the face, very close to the heart, and that was interesting for both myself and for Lynn.
Forget peace for now. We have to show them we're strong. She had such intelligence and wit and courage that I wanted to get all that in her, plus the simplicity. There was no artifice about this woman. She struggled for an education. Her family spoke nothing but Yiddish in her household. They didn't think after high school there's no reason for her to go on to have any more education. And she came from Milwaukee. She had such a journey in her life. And I fell in love with the woman.
Golda Meir was amazing shape. I mean, it was fantastic studying it. But Lynn is far tinier in physique than Golda Meir was. So we had to really build her up a lot with padding, and we went through the sort of procedure about twice before we got it right.
And then I had a death mask, taken to work with my face, because they wanted to build a nose and a chin and things for here. And we would start the process of trying to find this woman, physically and every other way.
Her sister died, but I think she didn't go to the athletes' funerals because some people are angry at her for not negotiating with the terrorists.
Ephraim is part of the Israeli intelligence service, and he's the case officer who's in charge of selecting the team of people who are going to seek out the specific enemy in terms of the horrific events that took place during the Munich Olympics.
The beauty of working with someone like Steven, obviously, is the fact that he can literally get the people that he wants. And for me to work with Jeffrey, obviously, being a Melbourne boy such as myself, and we usually only meet on the Qantas flights from Los Angeles to Melbourne, so to be on the set together was great.
If these guys live, Israelis die, whatever doubts you have, Avner.
At one point I mentioned that I had a vision of Ephraim as somebody who looked a little bit like Arthur Miller, and I remember that Jeffrey loved that idea and immediately began a hunt for the right glasses. And it was Jeffrey's idea to actually act with lenses. Now, Jeffrey doesn't wear glasses like that, but he acted through lenses where he pretty much couldn't see Eric Bana or Daniel Craig when he was acting with them. Because often in movies, it's just glass. You don't see any distortion. There's no correction in the lenses. And he insisted on having a correction. And that kind of added somewhat of a myopic layer to his character.
Our civilians have been attacked by the Israelis day after day.
About all the years and years of Palestinian blood spilled by Israel. And who mourns for us?
You know Israel.
I was engaged as an actress first, but very quickly when I arrived there, in these 2 weeks I was in the beginning in Malta, it was decided that I become the technical advisor, in fact, on that period concerning Israel and Palestine, and then I just stayed the whole movie.
Without her, it would have been a different movie, really. And I think everybody understood that. That's why Steven kept her for the whole movie. She became the soul of the movie at some point. And she really is a symbol of what the movie is all about. You know, there is no reason to make war because you're the same people.
They won't help when Egypt and Syria attack, even Jordan. Israel will cease to exist.
My character is fictional, but I always start with research whenever I'm starting work on a new role, especially with something that's based on specific historical events. And, you know, there was so much to learn about the time, about some of the ideologies and sort of ideas that were flying around that motivated the Palestinian resistance movement at that time.
Just make a conscious decision to turn your body like a duel.
Okay.
You know?
And so you'll notice in the film that Ali has a key around his neck. What had happened basically in my research, I had read that many Palestinians who were exiled in '48 and then later in '67 had some kind of memento from their homes. And many didn't have time to grab anything. They left in such a rush that they would grab just their key because they fully expected to return, you know, in a week or two. And so there are many Palestinians who have the key to their old homes. And I thought maybe Ali has the key to his father's house and wears it as a sort of reminder.
We want to be nations. Home is everything.
I'm going to go along with this until I don't. Do you understand me?
Islet somehow, just through her face and through her eyes and through her conviction, equaled Eric, and it's an extraordinary accomplishment. She's never been in a film outside of Israel. She's a working Israeli actress, and to have found her was a great fortune for us.
I was really surprised to discover that Steven is an enthusiastic man in a way that I don't think I met before. When he's working, he is so into what he's doing. He's completely determined and he's completely emotional towards that, and it's beautiful, I think. And also I discovered that he really likes things to be really fast. He doesn't want to have too many pause, which is, I think, really interesting because then you don't have the time to think, you just react. And it's emotions. For me, it was really good.
We inhabit a world of intersecting secrecies. We live and die at the places where those secrecies meet.
Well, I had been looking for the right actor to play Papa. And then one night I was watching, again on television, I've seen the movie many times, Day of the Jackal. And all of a sudden it just hit me, oh my God, Michael Lonsdale. So we approached him with this character, and it's a great character. He doesn't have a lot of screen time, but he dominates the movie when he's in the picture.
There's some opinion you should be punished for what happened in Beirut.
We didn't know so many would die.
I'm in business with death. Do you think I'm squeamish? Papa is somebody who lives in a big farm with a sort of family and friends and everything. And he has the possibility of selling important information about where the killers are. And we don't know how, but anyway, he does, and he asks a lot of money to do that. And at the same time, when Avner comes, he speaks with him, and then he understands that Avner is doing all this for his family. So that touches Papa.
Lie to me and you will find me abruptly unreachable and unhappy.
the depth to which we go through the cast and continue to find really interesting characters that are very deeply textured and well layered and beautifully performed, and Matthew Almeric is obviously one of them. And all the scenes that I have with Matthew, I mean, you really get the dynamic of these two guys and the dynamic of them together.
You're wondering if I'm French intelligence, or CIA, or KGB, or an agent with a profitable sidelining information. I could be anybody.
The thing is that nobody really knows who he is, huh? And we're always in Avner's eyes. So he always has a doubt about this guy, but he needs him to find information. And that's the funny part, the relationship between Avner and Louis, where they are always playing like cat and mouse. And I think Steven wanted to play on that. That's what the film is about. It's not only politics, it's about man, you know, and what we have inside. And I think he's a great storyteller because he loves what is complex in the humankind.
Many people must want to kill you, Monsieur Stodge. But why would I do that? You pay better than anyone.
I want to say thank you very much to several actors who we're saying goodbye to today. Mustafa, you were just great in all of your scenes for us today.
The film has assembled such a wide variety of talented people from all over the globe. You know, every day we would have people coming in, you know, actors who would, with smaller roles, whether they be Israeli or Palestinian or from all these different countries. And I think that really, you know, really permeated through the set. You always felt like you were working at the UN almost, you know, every day. And everyone who came in and did a day's work or a week's work and had a big impact on their characters and the film.